It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Happy Thursday. And every Thursday night, Gooma hosts its singer-songwriter series featuring local and upcoming artists. Civic Center TV's reporter Jake Schaff visited the Sylvan Lake venue to get the full story.
Music is one of the true universal languages, and just recently, Gooma Italian Restaurant in Sylvan Lake has been welcoming in so much music thanks to their Thursday Open Mic Night series, a chance for local singer-songwriters to stop by the restaurant, showcase their talent, and the chance to leave a valuable impression on the community with their music.
It definitely has been a work in progress since we opened a year and a half ago. We've been wanting to do this. We are very fortunate to have a connection to Billy, who knows the owner, and he's the one that kind of worked with Brad, the owner, to put this together for us. So far, we've had some really beautiful artists come in, and we're really excited to see what comes in the next few weeks. Since we've opened, we've had the stage here, and people have asked us, like, oh, do you do live music? And it was always, not yet, we want to in the future, this, that, the other. And as soon as we launched it the very first night, we had a full house. So it really made the community excited. It makes us excited. It's been a really good turnout.
It is wonderful. The staff is wonderful. And there's always great fans and people, and I just love singing and bringing joy to people and while they're eating dinner and enjoying their evening.
How do you feel that this is going to help not just yourself, but just the entire music scene here in West Bloomfield?
Just performing and a place opening up their doors to live music always brings new fans and attention to not only the restaurant but to live music. And live music adds a great aspect and atmosphere overall to restaurants and bar scenes and all that kind of thing.
How do you think that these open mic nights help the atmosphere of Gooma?
I think it just adds a little bit to it. Just makes it a little more exciting than just having dinner, and then I think that we'll pull more people in, so I think it's fun for everybody. Hopefully it'll just keep catching on, and we're promoting it on social media, so hopefully it'll just keep going and going.
We have a big regular base, and we want to be able to bring those regulars all together. It's certain nights where everybody comes in at the same time and everybody knows each other, so adding the live music really gives them an opportunity to know, like, if they're going to come here for the live music, they're going to see familiar faces and be able to talk to their neighbors and friends that they haven't seen and just get together and enjoy the atmosphere and the music.
There have been so many pleasant sounds to come from this restaurant as of late, and there's going to be plenty more as this event continues to get popular. And the joy of music continues to be spread all throughout Greater West Bloomfield. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Jake. Great story and another great venue, great local spot that we can go to and enjoy some live local music. Doors open at 4. Show starts at 6 p.m. Check it out for yourself. I highly encourage Gooma Italian Restaurant in Sylvan Lake on Orchard Lake Road. Or you can go to their Facebook as well, Gooma Italian on Facebook. Next week, the West Bloomfield High School Drama Department takes center stage with their highly anticipated spring musical, Matilda. Based on a beloved story about Roald Dahl, the cast is busy putting the final touches on their lines and set pieces, and you can catch a preview right on Civic Center TV. The show runs from May 1st through May 3rd, and the tickets are available now on West Bloomfield High School's website. And you can visit their page to learn more about their musical production and more about your seats as well. Visit them on Facebook at West Bloomfield Schools. This past weekend, the Detroit Free Press Marathon's Road to Detroit training group made a stop right here in West Bloomfield. I actually dedicated some time to catch up with some dedicated local runners. Here's the story.
I'm all about health and wealth and, to keep myself from continuously being obese back and forth. So anytime a run is scheduled or there's an opportunity to do some physical activity, I'm all for it.
I've only done one marathon so far. That was December 2023 in Hawaii. So my friends are always pushing me to go to the next level. So this year I decided to go to the next level. So I came out here. I need to get some trail running in and just miles in general.
It's Saturday and I had to do 10 miles. Yeah, it's a normal Saturday run for me, 10 miles.
Achieving personal goals, training for the Detroit Free Press Marathon, or running your regular routes bring these local residents together. But Ambassador for the Road to Detroit Training Group, Courtney Chase, tells us the goal for the event, while others tell us why they enjoyed the group run.
The goal is to get the community involved in their marathon training with other runners so that we can create an environment where everyone feels welcome to come to.
Running in a group keeps you motivated. It's fun, it's entertaining. You can go different paces. There's fast runners, slow runners, so you never feel like you're getting left behind. And then they always just push you to do whatever miles you set out to do.
So when you run with a group, sometimes you run with people faster and sometimes you run with people slower. So it gives you the opportunity to push yourself or pull yourself back if you're always doing too much. So it gives you, that type of feeling when you're running with a group versus when you're running solo.
Beyond achieving personal goals, local runner DeLorean Cotton tells us why events like this is important for runners of the greater West Bloomfield community.
I think it means a lot. I think it means that people of all, areas or all avenues are able to come together and fellowship for one cause. So I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think it's a wonderful thing for the community as well.
Oh, it's just a chance for us to get together. Like I said, it's a community thing. We get together, we hang out, we go for a run, we have a good time.
It grows around the community. There are people that you'll meet here that end up becoming your friends for the rest of your life. So it's really just about building the community, even just aside from running.
And those miles logged on the West Bloomfield Trail are just the beginning for these marathon runners. I want to thank all of our community runners again for allowing me in their space and to share their inspiring story as well. Even in a community as safe as West Bloomfield, being prepared can make all the difference. I actually stopped by True Martial Arts at the Orchard Mall to explore their adult self-defense classes and discover how residents are gaining more than just safety, including confidence, fitness, and teamwork.
Well, it is a safe community, but you do travel all over, and even in safe communities, things do happen, and it's good to be prepared, especially as a parent. You just never know what's going to happen, and it gives you a sense of confidence. You can just face whatever is going to happen.
What could be more important than knowing how to defend yourself, right? We talk about how martial arts builds confidence in people, and there's a certain brand of confidence that's built through self-defense training, knowing that you can walk through life and that even if you don't have all the tools to defend yourself, that you have some.
Although the classes were meant to teach individuals how to protect themselves, current students and members tell us how it can be a great team-building exercise as well.
It's so much fun. It really is. And you get to meet and work with new partners on a daily basis. And we get the opportunity to explore how each other works and our technique and what we're good at, what we're bad at. And as a result of all of that, it helps to build team building 100% across the line. And our instructor team here is amazing.
Big part of this is sort of common bond through sacrifice. So you come in, everybody's working to their limit, sweating, they can't go any further. Other people around you are in the same situation. So coming through that together on the other side, you just have that natural bond because you know that they went through the same thing you went through and kind of pulled each other through it.
Besides the combat and camaraderie, Greater West Bloomfield residents take away more than just the skills for self-defense at True Martial Arts.
I am definitely in much better condition than I was before I started. I feel like I'm a lot stronger. I'm a lot more confident in myself and my ability, and it does help keep me in very good shape for things outside of class, just taking care of your home or your parents or your children.
Exactly. And from personal safety to stress relief and team building, true martial arts is empowering adults in more ways than one. Once again, I want to thank Matthew Secor and the staff and students of True Martial Arts West Bloomfield for allowing us to share that insightful story. Red dye number 3. Did you know this is commonly found in candies, baked goods, snacks, dairy products, and so much more? And the FDA has actually ordered manufacturers to remove red dye number 3 from products by January 15th, 2027. We talked to registered dietitian from Henry Ford Health System, Hallie Saperstein, who told us about the synthetic dye and how we can all make healthier choices. Hallie Saperstein. Thank you for being here, Hallie.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I appreciate you being here first and foremost because this sparked my own curiosity, and I want to kind of get into it. Your initial thoughts on the FDA's decision to ban this red dye number 3.
I think it's fantastic. Definitely a step in the right direction. If I can give you a little bit of history, there's something called the Delaney Clause that was effective in 1958. And it was it's part of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. And they it was a clause to say that food additives, if they cause cancer in rats or humans, they must be banned. But in the 1980s, they started studying red dye number 3, and they found that it caused thyroid cancer in rats. And so since the 1990s, they've actually been trying to ban it in food. And actually, before they banned it in food, they banned it in makeup. So I found that to be quite interesting, like in lipsticks and things, because they found that wouldn't be safe, but yet it was still in our food. So there's a lot of, yeah, it's crazy. So there's all these watchdog organizations. One is called CSPI, the Center of Science and Public Interest. They've been fighting for years. And finally, it is a priority in the federal government to ban it. So I think it's great for consumer protection and consumer safety, as we've found that it can cause thyroid cancer in rats, and it does cause neurobehavioral issues in people.
First and foremost, thank you for that history lesson. A lot of information that I wasn't privy to, but I'm pretty sure a lot of our audience wasn't privy to as well. With that being said, there's a lot of things that we may or may not know about what's in our food and the things that we consume. So with that being said, how can parents of West Bloomfield be more aware of some of these harmful food additives to make healthier choices for our families?
Great question. First of all, you want to pay attention, stay informed, read the news. It's all over, and try to make better choices. Try always buy fresh food over processed. So always, when you're shopping, shop the perimeters of the grocery store because you're going to find the fresh food. We always say, as children especially, eat a rainbow. Eat all different colors, and you can make your plate vibrant. When your kids come home from school, instead of putting out a processed snack, you could put out fresh fruit, you could put out fresh vegetables, make it fun, put dips out there. Like I said, eat a rainbow. Number 2, you could read labels. When you're, to stay informed, look at the back of packages. After I did my recent article for Henry Ford on food dyes, we actually started looking through our labels in our pantry and found there's a lot of hidden food dyes. So you have to definitely, be proactive and look at things. Be creative, find things that you can color your baked goods with. You can use berries, you can use nuts, you can use different things that are going to add color without adding additives. Or unnatural. There's also natural food coloring you can buy. So if you're making cakes and cookies, you can find natural food dyes just where you'd find your regular food coloring in the baking section, and you can use those. They use turmeric and they use beet juice and things like that to color things. And then also stay informed by looking at different websites. There's one called safemama.com, and on that website, there's a list of food dye-free snacks. So that way you can try to stock up your pantry and, with those healthier things and go from there.
It makes sense. But go ahead. Continue, please.
Oh, no, you're fine. You go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, but essentially what I was saying, I just want to bring up what you just said. When you look into your own cabinet, and once you're conscious of these things, you'll start to notice these type of things are in a lot of our different foods and drinks, and like you even said, lipsticks and things of that nature. So what are some of the biggest challenges families will face when trying to transition to this dye-free or additive-free food options?
So the biggest challenge, I think cost may be a challenge.
Yep.
So if you, just to keep in perspective, there's over 3,000 foods that contain red dye number 3. So you have to kind of look through the others, and so you want to, so the challenge could be it's increased production costs to not use this red dye number 3, which actually comes from petroleum. And there's a decreased demand, so at this time, we don't have as many products out there that are without, these dangerous food dyes, but so the cost might be higher. Food additives also keep our foods fresh longer. Not the food dyes in particular, but just food additives in general. They can slow the microbial activity and slow a chemical reaction. So foods might not stay fresh as long if they don't have additives in them. And also, the food might look different to your kids because they're used to having colorful M&Ms and Skittles and things like that. And so just educating our children on, why we're making this change, and hopefully they'll buy into it.
No, I understand that too, especially when you spoke on food looking different, possibly even tasting a little bit different, lasting a little bit different. Once we remove the dyes and the additives, we're looking at completely different food for the most part. But I want to kind of speak on that to a certain angle. With us right here live on The Splash, registered dietitian from Henry Ford Health, Hallie Saperstein, talking about the FDA removing red dye number 3, or I should say banning it, and requiring manufacturers to remove it from their products by January 15th, 2027. Now, one thing I want to speak on is the United States compared to other countries when it comes to our food. How does the U.S. compare to other countries when it comes to food safety regulations, and what lessons can we learn from them?
So that's a good question. We actually, we compare favorably, number one. I found that really interesting during my research. In 2022, we actually ranked 13th out of 113 countries on their Global Security Index for food safety. But what we're behind in is the food additives. So food dyes and things like that. Like, for instance, in the European countries, they've actually banned red 40, the yellow dyes, and the blue dyes, and they're actually in the process of banning green dyes. But here, we're just starting out, and we're banning red number 3. So we are just in the step. We're going in the right direction, but it's definitely going to take time to make all the changes.
Yes, and from my research that I'm looking here, if I'm not mistaken, in September 2023, California became the first U.S. state to ban 6 synthetic food dyes, including red 3 and red 40 as well, for some of those risks that we were talking about. But now this is more of an entire country thing, with the FDA doing it as well. Yeah. So, and me going to different countries before, I've experienced different fruits and vegetables that look a little bit different and taste a little bit different, but now kind of putting it into context, it's because different food and safety regulations from different countries and governments. So thank you for also providing that. Also, are there any natural alternatives that exist for food coloring? And can you just explain how people can incorporate them into their diets?
Yes, so there's definitely natural food dyes that we can use So if you're baking, the easiest one is if you go to the grocery store, there's right next to the unnatural food dyes, there are natural food dye packages. Now, they might be a bit more expensive, but they're using turmeric extract, carrot extract, spirulina for green, berries for purple. They use beet juice and vegetable juice for these dyes. And the other thing is, you don't really need the dye. You can just make your things look more pretty. Like if you're making a cake, for instance, instead of using a colorful dye, you could just throw a bunch of berries on top and make it beautiful. So.
That sounds
Yeah.
good. I'm getting hungry now.
Doesn't
Okay.
it? I know.
know,
It sounds
right?
much better than food dye.
But here's what I really want to get at, right? With this ban happening in less than 2 years now, obviously it's going to affect food manufacturers, but on a local level, it's going to affect grocery stores and the food that they supply. So how do you think this ban will impact local grocery shopping and product availability in our greater West Bloomfield area?
So I think the products are gonna, start. I think there's gonna be more products, that are gonna be out there as time goes on. Again, I want, I think I recommended using different websites to sort of see what's out there. There's already products on the market, like goldfish crackers. They use natural food dyes, which is amazing. They've been doing that for quite some time. So I really don't anticipate too many bumps in the road. I actually see some of the grocery stores even promoting these products because they know that we're trying to make our foods healthier and we're trying to keep, our consumers healthy. So I think they're going to start, maybe highlighting them and end caps at grocery stores, especially the local grocery stores. I find that, people here are very health conscious in West Bloomfield. So I see it as being a benefit. But like I said, there are 3,000 products with this red dye number 3, and there's probably a third that don't have that dye. So it's just going to take some time to kind of move them off the shelves. But like you had said too, we have till January 15th of 2027.
Correct. A lot of good key information that you're giving us right here, and don't want to hold you up too much longer. Any additional information that we should know about in regards to these food additives or dyes, or just anything in general with the food that we consume?
Yeah, just be mindful. Start reading labels. Start seeing what's in products. I mean, things as simple as like brownie mix has all these different additives. And so, trying to start to look at different recipes that you can make with your family. And it's also fun, that are not using all these additives, not using processed foods. Like I said, using, shopping the perimeters, because you want to avoid a lot of different things, not only just food dyes, but like high fructose corn syrup, MSG, brominated vegetable oil, which they find in sports drinks, which is crazy. They put all these things in that have been found to cause cancer, or some cause heart disease, like trans fats. And so we just want to make consumers more aware and try to, and like I said, there's so many resources at our fingertips with the web, with the internet. You can kind of shop before you actually enter the grocery store. Right. So just kind of use your resources and make good choices.
I like that you brought up the fact of reading our ingredients. I think it's a whole nother topic to get into, how to read some of these food labels, some of the words and the nutritional facts on there. That's a whole nother conversation. Maybe we'll have you back on to talk about that. But we appreciate your time and information. Once again, registered dietitian from Henry Ford Health, Hallie Saperstein. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And we will continue to speak with local medical professionals to share more information on red dye number 3 and other synthetic dyes as we approach that January 2027 date to ban the additive. The 2025 NFL Draft begins tonight in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And there are some former West Bloomfield High School Lakers looking to go to the next level. We actually talked to assistant coach of West Bloomfield High School football team, Daryl Bingham, who told us what it means to the program to see former players go to the pros.
West Bloomfield assistant football coach Daryl Bingham. Daryl, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I am great. I'm sure you're feeling great too as the draft is quickly approaching. And what does it mean for you to see so many of your former players declare for the NFL draft this year?
Well, outside of sitting back and feeling like a proud uncle, if you will, some of the kids I actually had a chance to know their whole life. So for instance, take Donovan. I've known Donovan since he was born. His dad is a close friend and fraternity brother of mine. His mom went to high school with my wife at that time. I remember, us working with him and working through the challenges when his mom died at a young age, and just watching him mature into the young man that he's become. I am so proud of him. Max Hairston. Max Hairston played for our youth football program for a long period of time. And the great thing about Max actually is probably as good of a basketball player as he is a football player. And to see him make the leap and excel in football at the level that he has, it's just baffling. His NFL combine was, like the kid said, he's about to put on a show, and he did exactly that. And that's the one thing I love about Max. Max isn't a competitor. He's going to give you everything he has. Jason Williams, winning the number of national championships that he's won up there at Fair State in Division II is just phenomenal. So I look forward to when he has his pro day. Jason is a young man who I saw as a toddler on the youth field when I was coaching youth football. At the time, I was coaching his cousin, and his dad would always come out and support his cousin. And Jason would always come around on the field, and I just watched him from the first time he actually touched the football to the time he's gone into college. I'm so proud of him. Comes from an excellent family, very supportive, very loving, and a big football family. So I'm excited to see his journey. And Lance Dixon. Lance Dixon, I had the opportunity to go down to his pro day at Toledo on Monday, and Lance did a great job. The thing I love about Lance is a hybrid player that even though he played the outside linebacker, because of his speed, you can move him to the safety position. He comes down and he delivers a great blow on a hit. He could be a great addition. I'd say the last person, Makari Page. Makari Page has probably been the quiet person throughout this time frame, but Makari, is and always has been kind of like a freak of nature, to have a safety that big and to play Division I and to, Makari has excellent speed. Makari loves to hit, loves contact. And Makari is a young man that he's a student of the game. He's going to sit back and he's going to study everything that he needs in order to improve in the opportunity that exists for him.
Well, you are covering a lot of great players, and you're absolutely right. Every single one of them has had that passion for football since a very young age. And we're actually going to show you a clip right now of Max Hairston when we had him on This Week in Laker Football all the way back in 2019, talking to our very own Dave Scott about some of his favorite activities outside of football and what he takes away from the sport.
I always like to ask this at the end of these interviews. What do you do when you're not practicing or playing football? What do you do with your time for the fun of it?
You got to watch film. I watched 3 hours last night.
There's no fun. It's football season. Well, come on. I mean, don't you play video games, or you got a hobby or something you do when you're not working on football?
I'll take a break, but I got to get back to the film.
It's always studying that film, and that shows you how passionate he is about this sport. How does it feel to look back and see how much passion these players have always had for the sport of football?
Coming from a program that had to build from the ground up to compete in, as far as I'm concerned, the toughest conference in the state of Michigan, the OAA, and to have to deal with creating a name for themselves, not walking into a legacy, but creating the legacy. I am so enthused by the lessons that they've learned and they've been able to carry with them. And it doesn't just transcend into football, it transcends into everything that they do and everything that they touch. The work ethic, the discipline, the focus, the fact that no matter what I do, I have to become a student of it, embrace it, live it, and work at it every single day. It just does a coach very proud. And I can't say more about the guys. As great as they are as football players, they're better human beings. And that says volumes to the work they put in development of themselves and the family that they have around them, not only blood family, but the extended family that they have around them, and nurturing them to become great human beings.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it any better myself. They live and breathe football, and each of these players has had a different path to the NFL draft. How did West Bloomfield help them prepare for the next level?
I had an opportunity to talk to Max when Max was in prep, and during that time frame, they kind of shut down from a lot of communication. So it's funny. I just sent him a text and say, "Hey, I'm praying for you, son. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. Just know that we back here at home, we love you and we're praying for you." And later on that night, it had probably been about 9 o'clock at night, he said, "Hey, Coach, I'm so sorry I missed your text and I missed your call." He said, "I just want to reach out to you." I said, "I just want to say I love you." And from a community standpoint, that support is what we were able to provide. All the young men, they actually have found trainers. They found their agents and everything to help position them to get ready for this draft. If they needed access to the facility, they definitely had access to it. But for the most part, most of them were away and they were training with other young men who were preparing for the draft to make sure that they had access to a competition level that they would see when they went into their drills at the draft.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have retired assistant coach of the West Bloomfield High School football team, Daryl Bingham, talking about his feelings on seeing so many of his former players make it to the NFL draft and hopefully take the next step into the NFL. And Daryl, as a coach, how rewarding is it to see your former players achieve their dreams at the highest level?
It means the world. We sit back and we talk and we preach about the future and what it takes to get there. It is great when you see the manifestation of it. It's even better when you see them walking in it and embracing it, and in doing it in such a way with class and with style that we demanded of them and that they always presented when they were here at West Bloomfield. And now that they've left our community and we no longer have those day-to-day ties to them, to see that they still walk within the structure and the discipline and the knowledge that has been passed on to them from the West Bloomfield community. I'm just so proud of our boys. I can't say enough about our West Bloomfield kids.
Absolutely. You should be very proud on everything they've accomplished. And what advice would you give them as they take the next step in their careers?
Biggest thing, remember the statement that I would always say to them when we were in practice: from whence come you? Know and understand the responsibility that you carry from the community that you come from, and live in that. Walk upright, be forthright in everything that you do, and commit. And more importantly, we were blessed with Coach Bellamy during that time frame, and Coach Bellamy, with the U of M pedigree and the U of M training, one of the things that he would always reiterate to them: the team. Remember, hey, you didn't get here by yourself. So while you're walking in that pathway, make sure you support those who are walking with you, and also reach back. Be a conduit and a vessel for others who want to gain that knowledge and to gain that wisdom and what it takes to get there, so that they understand and they can see, feel, and touch someone who came from the same community that they did, and understand this is possible, but this is what it's going to take in order to get there.
That's absolutely right. They are impacting every single person they can. And you just touched on it a little bit right there. They're impacting the future players that will play with West Bloomfield. I've got another clip I want to show you. At his signing day event, covered by media from across the nation in 2020, Donovan Edwards gave future Lakers words of encouragement on how they can become Laker greats just like him.
Man, just stay patient, man. Like, when your opportunity comes, you got to seize your opportunity, man. Like, as well as that being said, like, you got to come in with the mentality, like, man, like, I'm about to dominate this. I got to dominate, what's going on right here. And it's like, I feel as though, like, as a player of a high caliber, you just got to have the mentality to be the best every single day.
And he certainly has shown that mentality every single game. But that poses a good question. How do their successes impact the current and future players at West Bloomfield?
It impacts in a great way. It's nice to know and to be comfortable and familiar with the legacy that you inherit. And that's what we tell a lot of our players right now, is that your job is to continue the legacy. It's just kind of like, like I say to my sons, you inherited a last name because of birthright coming from my family line, but it is your responsibility to uphold that last name and to excel it beyond yourself. So the young people that come behind them, the young men that come behind them, they inherited the legacy of all the things that all our great players in the past have done, even to the extent of, I don't want to leave out this one person because he's probably the first from our community who did it big, and that's Matt Judon. with a lot of the things that they've been able to do. But it is your job and your responsibility, your didactic, your moral responsibility to uphold and to excel it beyond yourself, because there is someone coming beyond you. And when they come behind you, you want to make sure that they have the same character, the same sense of discipline and responsibility that has been instilled in you. As a result of that, we've seen our players, begin to understand, I can do this. And not only can I do this, I can do this at the next level, but I got to commit. And that's one of the toughest things to teach a high schooler, especially in the transition that we're seeing in the college game. When you have a kid where you sit back and you got to help them understand, yeah, it may be tough. You may not be that Division I offer anymore because of the transfer portal. You might wind up going a Division II route and then transferring into a Division I school later on. It helps them understand, no matter what the walk is, stay committed, stay focused, stay disciplined, and stay true to trying to fulfill the responsibility of the legacy.
Spoken like a true coach. Daryl, thank you so much for stopping by with us here on the Splash Live. One more really quick question before we let you go, though. What's some advice you could offer to current high school kids who are looking to make it to the big stage like this batch of players hopes to do in just a little bit?
The path is different. It's not difficult. It's just different now. Like I mentioned, because of the portal, it does change a lot of things at the collegiate level. But if you focus, the one thing that we've learned about professional sports, if you're good, they will find you. Just do your job, and do your job 100% of the time.
That's absolutely right, and they're certainly going to be putting in the work to hopefully make it to the big stage like Donovan, Max, and everybody else declaring for the draft this year. Daryl, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you, and go Lakers.
Yeah, that's right. Go Lakers. And good luck to all of the players tonight in the NFL 2025 draft. And you can see some of our interviews from former Laker players and highlights from some Laker football games all on our website. Go directly to civiccentertv.com for more content. Coming up, we have more information on a community staple making its annual return. Will you make an appearance yourself? We'll talk more about that coming up. We're live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from West Bloomfield. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent of West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be 1 in a million.
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to the Splash, live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. The Greater West Bloomfield, Michigan Week Award Breakfast is next week Friday at Temple Israel, acknowledging local residents who take their time to volunteer to make our community better. How are these awardees selected? And what can we expect from this year's event? Kathy Russ, Michigan Week Committee Chairperson, recently spoke to us to give us all the answers. Michigan Week Committee Chairperson, Kathy Russ. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's very exciting to be on the show.
I bet it is exciting to be in the chairperson position for this event as well. And I want to ask you about that. If I'm not mistaken, first time chairing a major township event like this, what has the experience been like for you so far?
So it is my first time being the chair of Michigan Week and this major township event, as you said. But lucky for me, I'm not a stranger to chairing events. I was the conference chair for the Michigan Library Association conference a few years back, and that was for about 3,000 people. And I've also chaired the Michigan Library Association's awards committee for several years. So happily, I have event planning experience. But for to be part of the Michigan Week committee, it's been really great because I've gotten to work with such wonderful, amazing people who I can't even tell you, like, the spirit of the volunteers who work on this event is so inspiring because everybody really cares. I've been on the committee for 4 years, but I've never chaired. So to be able to lead the committee has been great. It's been very rewarding.
I bet. Oh, wow. So I went to the event last year. Such a great experience, a lot of great energy in there. And it's great to just recognize people who take their time and resources, like we said earlier, just to help out the community. So how have you and your team been working to make this year's event different from the previous celebrations?
That's a good question. You know, it's funny because I think it's the celebration itself doesn't change in that, you know, we have the breakfast, we confer the awards. Everybody is very excited and happy to be there. But I think what makes it each year is unique because of the people. You know, the award recipients change every year. And I think that's a tribute to this community that it isn't the same people getting these awards over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. It's different people every year, which means there's such an array of people in this community volunteering and doing wonderful things. So I think the people make it unique. Mm-hmm. And I also think that the theme this year, which is Say Yes to Volunteering in Michigan, one of the things I thought of when I, was able to be chair was that it's called Michigan Week. So we should celebrate Michigan too. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of did the theme as the takeoff on the old Say Yes to Michigan theme. And I wanted to share in that vein, Emily Tobin on the library staff did the centerpiece, which the blue marbles stones are the lakes. And then we have cherry blossoms or apple blossoms. And then she's going to put a mitten in each one too. So it's all going to be Michigan based.
Oh, okay. So a lot of thought going into different aspects of it. And I loved how you just said it. What makes it unique is the fact that we're celebrating and honoring different people almost every year. So that speaks a lot to the residents of our community. With that being said, for the people who may have never been to one, can you give us an overview of what's planned for the Michigan Week festivities?
Sure. So if I may too, I also want to let people know that registration is open through midnight tomorrow night. So if people would like to attend, we would love to have them, but registration closes at midnight tomorrow. So please register now and bring a friend. So what happens is our venue is Temple Israel, which is a magnificent space, and especially one to have this event. It holds 300 people. So we can have a lot of people, and our honorees, our award recipients can bring guests and bring family members or friends or, people to cheer them on, which is great. It's nice to be able to hold it in a space that will allow us to do that. The breakfast starts at 7.
Okay.
And I think we are celebrating an important big anniversary for Michigan Digital as well at the breakfast. And then we'll have some speeches and confer the awards, and but not too many. We have some speeches, and I don't want people to think it's like all speeches, because sometimes that's not everybody's cup of tea. But the speeches are always heartwarming, always inspiring. So we pass out the awards. We eat a lovely breakfast. And I should also mention that there are vegetarian, gluten-free, kosher options available. So I don't want anybody to feel like they wouldn't be able to attend because they wouldn't be able to eat the food. Right. And then we have everybody, we've made a commitment to have everybody on their way by 9 o'clock because we do have a lot of people who work for the schools or people who are going to their jobs, and we don't want to hold them up. We want to make the best use of everybody's time, but we still want to have a wonderful celebration. And it's on a Friday, so it's a nice way to start your Friday. You coast into work and have just this great spirit takes you through the rest of the day, and then on you go into the weekend.
Oh yeah, no, trust me. Going last year, it's early. You get a good breakfast, good vibes from everybody. Then you just start the rest of your day going into the weekend. It is a great way to do that. And once again, joining me right here live on the Splash, Michigan Week Committee Chairperson Kathy Russ, talking about the festivities leading up to Michigan Week Friday, May 9th as well, and just putting the event together all together. There are many different award winners that's being recognized during this event, right? So have they already been informed of their wins? How does that work?
Sure. So what we do is the people who nominate their candidates for the awards, we have them let their nominees know that they're receiving awards, because that's exciting. And that way the person who's receiving the award knows who nominated them. And it's like a mini celebration on their part. We follow up with a notification to the person to let them know officially that they're receiving an award. But we like to let the nominators have that fun. So we have an awards committee that goes through all of the nominations, and then they make their selections. We let the nominators inform the award recipients, and then there's a lot of behind the scenes work from the committee. We order the awards, the medallions, the signs. You can see a sign behind me that goes to everybody who's receiving an award. So we have all that in process right now, and then we have our big day.
Yes. Oh, so since we're telling some of the people, the nominees in advance, what has been some of their reactions to it?
So I haven't because the nominators get to tell them. I don't know what everybody has responded, but I know that I have had some feedback, or some people have gotten in touch with me, and everybody is so excited. And there are some people, it's so humbling and so gratifying, because there are some people who are just not believing that they're receiving an award. And it's like, well, yeah, you're receiving an award. You did a wonderful job, or you've contributed so much. So everybody, I think, is excited, in some cases very grateful, surprised. And it's just to be the person who gets to be part of that is really rewarding.
To look at the bigger picture of this event and the purpose of it, I want people to understand the full scope of the honorees. So can you just talk about the kind of impact that these honorees typically have on the community to be recognized?
Sure. So I think if I could break it down, I'd say that there are a couple of major themes to these awards. One is leadership, and there are youth leadership awards, and it's so marvelous to see what these young people are doing in their schools and their communities. So we recognize leaders, emerging leaders from schools, these young people who are doing amazing things. But then we have our leadership awards for people who have contributed to the community for a longer period of time. Our Jeff Lee Lifetime Leadership Award, for example, and then of course the Gretschko Award for an individual and then for an organization. So leadership is a big part of this event. But I think the other thing is again the volunteerism awards. Each community organization has the opportunity to nominate a volunteer of the year. So for example, the Friends of the Library, who I work with very closely, are able to nominate someone from their organization. So to see all of the community organizations and the people who make them work be recognized for the work that they do is just a key part of this event as well. So it's for everybody, it's about everybody, and it shows really so much that goes on in West Bloomfield. Like what a great place West Bloomfield is to be, because so many people contribute to the success.
Yes, I would agree with that too. It just talks about the greatness of the everyday residents right here in our own backyard. With me right here, live on the Splash, by the way, Michigan Week Committee Chairperson Kathy Russ, talking about the Michigan Week events leading up to Friday, May 9th, and just the work that it takes to build this actual event and put it together. What do you hope attendees take away from this year's festivities?
So every year, when I leave, I always feel really happy, really inspired, really positive. And I hope that they feel that way too. I hope that they see and appreciate all the contributions that their neighbors are making. I hope potentially that people are inspired to volunteer and to get involved in a cause that's dear to their heart. I'm sure whatever cause is dear to their heart, there's an organization that will help them be part of it in West Bloomfield and to make a difference. And I think the other thing is too, one of the things that I appreciate so much is the kids. You see these marvelous young people receiving these awards, and it gives me hope for the future. And I think we need to support our young people and encourage them in the work that they do to keep them going, because I think it's hard sometimes to be a young person in today's world.
Yeah. Set the example as the older generation, as leaders, role models. Just show them and bring them to these type of things, and just show them that we're doing and what it takes to actually have a great and safe community that we have here in Greater West Bloomfield. I love to hear it. So, lastly, before I let you go, any additional goals, visions that you have for the future of Michigan Week under your leadership?
Well, my leadership, I was chair for this year. We'll see what the committee wants to do next year.
Okay.
I think it's just, again, it's a tremendous event, and it's, I think, unique in Michigan, because I think West Bloomfield is the last community that celebrates this sort of thing, at least in the way that we do it. So, to keep that going and to continue to celebrate. Kind of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if there are any tweaks that we can do to make it better, I certainly want to do that. And everybody come out, have a wonderful time, and celebrate this tremendous community.
And lastly, for anybody who just joined us, the where, when, and why of the event again, please, details.
Yes. Friday, May 9th, 7 a.m. at Temple Israel on Walnut Lake Road, just west of the library. And if you want to purchase tickets, www.michiganweek.org. That's probably best to do it online now, because registration closes tomorrow night at midnight.
All right, and it also will be broadcast live right here at Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much again for your time. Once again, Michigan Week Committee Chairperson, Kathy Russ. We appreciate it.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. Take care. See you there.
And once again, you can get more information about Michigan Week on their website at michiganweek.org. And in case you are not able to attend, we will have full coverage of the event on Friday, May 9th on our website, civiccentertv.com, and locally on 89.3 Lakes FM. A new hyperbaric wellness center in Sylvan Lake, providing solutions for autoimmune diseases, PTSD, depression, thyroid disease, and so much more for our local community. We actually talked to Dr. Tony Abudeeb, chiropractor and director for the Hyperbaric Wellness Center, to tell us more about the benefits of oxygen therapy. Dr. Tony Abudeeb, thank you for being here, doctor.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
We appreciate the time. We know it's extremely valuable. Just want to get into a little bit of the story behind this and benefits of hyperbaric chambers. Can you just start off by telling us what inspired you to bring Hyperbaric Wellness Center to the Greater West Bloomfield area?
Well, I have different locations. I have one location in Traverse City. I've had it for about 15 years, and we decided to open another location in Grand Rapids after COVID hit. And then we did that. And then we noticed a lot of people coming from Grand Rapids up to Traverse City to get treatment. We have a few people from West Bloomfield, southern area of the state coming up to Traverse City and Grand Rapids. And then everybody is asking, when are you going to open one down here? And so on and so forth. And then I've always been an entrepreneur, and I love treating patients. I've been doing this for 37 years, and I said, you know what, we're just gonna have to go ahead and do it. And then we did some research. It took us about a year to decide to go ahead and pull the plug. And then we decided to come to West Bloomfield. I have my sister lives in here in Windsor, and then with her, we have a lot of people looking for alternative care like what you have here. Nobody else has really what we have here. Once we get going with the conversation, so I decided to go ahead and pull the plug, bring it over here. People come over here to check on the clinic, say, I just can't believe what you have over here. I can't believe you waited that long. So anyway, I do functional medicine, I do functional neurology, and everything. The whole thing came into play. Everything works together. And then that's why I decided to bring it down here to help a lot of folks who need that service, really, in a nutshell.
Nice. Thank you for bringing that right here to our greater West Bloomfield area. A unique alternative wellness solution. With that being said, can you explain how hyperbaric oxygen therapy works and what are the actual benefits that residents can get from it?
Okay. So pretty much I'll make it easy and simple. We all breathe. You have to breathe. You have to take in oxygen to live. So the older we get, we have less oxygen coming in. So we use the oxygen to increase healing, decreases inflammation, and increases immunity, to name a few. So what we do is we put the patient in the chamber. We give them a cannula or a mask. The chamber is being compressed with air, not oxygen. So they're taking that air through the cannula or through the mask, and then we compress the chamber. So you're giving the patient more oxygen. Now you're compressing the chamber. You're giving more pressure in there. So that oxygen that's being taken in through the cannula or the mask is being forced into the body and gets picked up by the red blood cells through the plasma, which is a fluid in the body, to go to the area that needs it the most. What kind of people we see here? All kinds. People looking for longevity, anti-aging, cancer patients who are looking to help with their cancer treatment, since cancer does not like oxygenated environment. Enhances the effectiveness of the chemotherapy, the radiation, Alzheimer's patients, dementia patients, post-stroke, Parkinson's, traumatic brain injuries, post-concussion, diabetic neuropathy, just really to name a few, or just people really, they're not getting better in their treatment, whatever they are.
Right.
They just come in and say, I just wonder if that hyperbaric is going to help me. People these days go to Google and look. Most of these people who come here that already been around, that have been everywhere, like, okay, I got to try this. I need to see if this is going to help me or not. And then this clinic over here, and again, I just mentioned earlier, we do functional medicine, functional neurology. So when the patients come here for, let's say, for the hyperbaric oxygen chamber, we treat them as a whole. We just say, okay, we're going to put you in the chamber, and then we'll see you tomorrow or the day after, whatever. We're just going to have to see where the problem is coming from. Is it autoimmune disease? Is it inflammation? Of course, everything comes from inflammation. So you get to the bottom of this. If the patient needs it, if the patient have their own doctor, that's all they need, oxygen, that's okay. Well, that's what we'll do. If they need the extra help, then we'll go out of our way to help them out with, we do whole body scans to scan the patients for anything from everything from food sensitivities, environmental sensitivities, bacteria, virus, yeast, mold, to name a few, to see where the inflammation is coming from and to help them with their treatment in a nutshell.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. I'm going to be honest, a lot of scientific words that kind of went through there, but I'm assuming ultimately great effort, another great method for us to take alternative wellness seriously and not have to go through the traditional healthcare options that we are used to. With that being said, with me right here live on the Splash, chiropractor and director for the Hyperbaric Wellness Center in Sylvan Lake, Dr. Tony Aboudib, talking about the benefits of hyperbaric oxygen therapy and more. Something that just came to my head, doctor, I definitely feel like I want to ask you this off of my head. There was recent news of dangers of a hyperbaric chamber locally in our community. Can you just reiterate some of the steps and precautions that you and your establishment takes to make sure people are getting the benefits and less of the risk from this hyperbaric oxygen therapy?
Yes, of course. I knew if you didn't bring it up, I was going to bring it up myself. So we had a patient here earlier come in before I got on Zoom, and he came and asked me the same question. So we see a lot of people calling asking about the same question. And then I explained to him, and I'm going to explain to you. And I showed him a clip from Fox News in Grand Rapids. They came 2 weeks ago Wednesday, and they clipped the difference between the chamber where that boy died, and then here in Troy, and then the chambers that we have. And it's easy to explain, straightforward. And I already brought that up earlier to you when I told you the chamber, we compress the chamber over here, we compress it with air. We don't compress it with oxygen. So the oxygen, the difference with those chambers, the chambers is a chamber. So you either fill it with 100% oxygen, the whole chamber, okay? Or you could fill the chamber with regular air, and you just give the patient oxygen through the cannula or the mask. That's it. So when you compress, so the delivery of the oxygen is different, but the results are the same. So oxygen, of course, everybody knows oxygen is combustible, and then really you have to really be careful with those kind of chambers. You know what you bring in, and then we do the same here over here. So this is pretty much really the difference. Is the whole with that particular chamber was full 100% with oxygen. With us, the only oxygen going to be taken in is through a mask or a cannula. You inhale the oxygen, we compress the chamber. Remember, oxygen heals. We give you more. We compress the chamber. That the oxygen you take it in through your nose is being compressed through your body to go to the area that needs it the most. Like I said, we've been doing this for a long time. It's really safe. It's really different than the other chambers that they have in the hospital or those facilities. To me, the other one's a lot riskier. There's a risk everywhere you go, but with us, really, it's really safe. Let's put it this way. I hope that you understand the answer, and I hope that your listeners understand that, because really we see miracles happen with that chamber. Been doing this for a long time, and that's why you see me here to give hope to the hopeless. Be honest with you, I don't have to be here. I live in Traverse City. I could be up there sitting watching the water, but I've been doing this for a long time. I like to see people get better and heal, and we see them here every day. I don't think people. And I said, people. It always comes to people's mind. I don't know. I'm scared because they don't know the difference, and this is really the difference here. This is just the chambers we have here and all other locations. They're not compressed with oxygen. It's compressed with air.
Right. And you can visit the Hyperbaric Wellness Center yourself on Orchard Lake Road in Sylvan Lake, or you can go directly to their website for more information, MichiganHealthAndWellness.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Per usual, you can catch us on social media, Civic Center TV 15 on Facebook and Civic Center TV on Instagram, X, and YouTube. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.